Hey everybody, it's your pal Drew Geraci, longtime pal. We've been together quite a bit. So, in case you're just joining us, I am Drew Geraci. I am a 30-year comic book industry veteran with DC, Marvel, Dark Horse, CrossGen, IDW, Image, and a whole lot more. And I love it. And way before that, as far as I recall, I've been a deep dish pizza of a fanboy, and I still am. So, I'm going to start with a new Why Did They Fail episode. There's a variety of reasons, and most of these lead back to the Bronze Age because it was pretty chaotic. You had 4 editors-in-chief in about 5 years, and they just threw up their hands and surrendered. And there was also a lot of new people that were really doing amazing stuff, really ornate stuff that wasn't really suited for a monthly deadline or even a bi-monthly deadline. I mean, David Cockrum did a fantastic job on X-Men, but even he needed a fill-in artist for issue 106 because he was also doing a bunch of covers. And I know I'm trivializing it, but it's like basically you had a bunch of laissez-faire hippies running the show, and books were always late, and they were helping each other out, and then they'd have to put out the fire on another book, get that out in time. And so you got a real mishmash, and then you got a bunch of reprints inside a regular series, which if you're a new kid on the block getting into comics, that's kind of neat. But if it's a long epic story like War of the Supervillains with Iron Man, and you have fill-in issues and reprints and all that, it really takes the story off the rails. So this book was started by Roy Thomas and Gil Kane, and they took the character called Him, who was appeared in 2 issues of Thor late in the Kirby run, and they just, they gussied him up, as he used to say. It drives me crazy. I was in advertising for a long time. That W and that A should be closer. It drives me crazy. When you have letters like this, it's called kerning. Like, there's very little of the line going there and the line going there. What you do is you squish it a little closer, not a lot, just a little, and the W is so far off. Because they're both parallel. So, and then here you go. Well, this half describes why it failed. Roy Thomas, Mike Friedrich, Gil Kane, Gary Conway, Bob Brown, and Herb Trimpe, and apparently Ron Goulart didn't merit the cover. So that's neat stuff. It's fun. I'm not going to say it's not fun, but if I were buying it off the rack on a regular basis, introduction by Roy Thomas, I love it because Roy remembers everything. So we start off with this fantastic issue. It's Marvel Premiere #1, and Marvel Premiere lasted 60 issues or something like that. Yeah, and I'm trying to think what else came out. I read Sonia, all these other books. And beautiful Gil Kane and Dan Adkins, who is Gil Kane's favorite inker, aside from himself. So it starts off great. Man, that anatomy is nuts. It's just amazing how Kane can do that. And as was the norm at the time, Gil Kane and Roy Thomas would do one book, the first book, and then they would immediately dump it on these new creators who were not quite familiar with deadlines just yet. And also it was like sticker shock, except instead of money, it was you're expecting a certain book from the previous issue, and then you get a whole different feel the second issue. But the High Evolutionary is really cool. Great Kirby design. Aside from the fact that Ant-Man 3 completely sucked, I thought, if they're going to have a High Evolutionary, why not give him his classic costume? That's great. Instead, they gave him that same plastic outfit they give all the characters at the Marvel Universe, which is a drag. I mean, like, I love Thor, but his costume looks like it's just made out of plastic or rubber or something. So, a lot going on. They really extend, and it goes back to the Hulk when he first meets the High Evolutionary. Really good stuff. And flash back to those issues of Thor I told you about. Oh, it's so good. The High Evolutionary in the movie would look so much better, but it's wrecked either way. Oh man, how about that? So he falls to the sky like a star or a meteor. So now this is defying expectations because Roy and Gil are still on board with Dan Adkins. Man, that's beautiful. For many years, it drove me cuckoo. Not that far way to go for me. That Kane did all these covers, but he didn't do the interiors. I was like, ah. And but you know, you think it's so funny. It was like, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, and 400 other times, big time shame on me, because I don't know, I just got sucked into it. I ended up buying up comics I didn't really want to buy because Kane's covers were so seductive. Yes, indeed. Let me see how far we are here. Like I said, it's still beautiful, and it's still a singular vision, which is great. That's a cool cover there. I love that cover. Okay. Now, whoa! All of a sudden, Mike Friedrich does a script over the plot of Roy Thomas. Basically, gets handed off to Mike Friedrich, who wrote Iron Man at the time, and he did some other stuff. John Buscema does the layouts. Tom Sutton inks it. Gil Kane's spiritual advisor. I don't know what that means, but it looks like crap. I love John Buscema. I love Tom Sutton. But I think both of these guys just, had to get it out. Had to get the book out. Because it's not that attractive. I think I'll just fall. That's a very odd pose. So... Now, with issue 3, oh, by the way, that was issue 2, I meant to tell you. Started off with 2 issues of Marvel Premiere, then it went to The Power of Warlock, issue 1. So already by issue 2, you have the fill-in artists and scripter. So... But then Gil Kane comes back, and this time Tom Sutton's inking him, and it seems like a pretty good match. I guess because Kane might be tighter, because they did say layouts for Buscema. And Mike Friedrich, it's now his book to tell, his story to tell. Okay. I love those slugfests. Okay. See, and not only that, like a lot of books in the Bronze Age, Marvel particularly, they were bi-monthly, December, January, February. So you would think you would have a stable crew who works on the book. Any book, a lot of books. I'm learning now, thumbing through stuff, that a lot of books were bi-monthly, or they would say 8 times a year, which was a little more than bi-monthly. So... Friedrich, Gil Kane, Tom Sutton again. Okay. So, really cool. Really, really cool. I miss these paperback Marvel Masterworks because they were half the cost. It was like, it was $25 instead of paying at the time $50, and now it's $75. So, but I guess they realized maybe they were cannibalizing sales. It's like, I'll just wait till the paperback comes out. Doctor Doom. So on Counter-Earth, Doctor Doom is a good guy. So, which is a great little twist. And now we have, Hold on a second. Who wrote this issue? It doesn't have credits on the front, which is very unusual. And they're not even in the back. Issue 5 is... Okay, issue 5 is written by... No. Let's see. Oh, Ron Goulart. Who I think he was like a comic historian who wrote books on comics. And he's done some scripting here and there. And it's Cocaine. Who did the inks on issue 5? Oh, Tom Sutton. Okay, we're back on board with that. But now we got Ron Goulart, so it's hot potato. It's like, it's kind of like, okay, this guy's a Christ figure, yet another one. But so it's neat. It's just so all over the place. And now we got Mike Frederick, scripter, Bob Brown, artist. Now, I've sung the praises of Bob Brown on Daredevil with the Black Widow. And, come on, focus, Frigger. And the thing is, I'm not keen on this here. I wasn't keen on his Avengers. I lost it, but Daredevil, he was born to draw. And now you got Tom Sutton inking. So, it's really passing around. And that's a Ramita cover, I'd swear. I don't think Kane did that for Ramita Inc. So, it's just awkward. This is just really awkward stuff. And there's another Reed Richards, who is the Brute, who showed up around issue 177 of Fantastic Four as Reed Richards of Counter Earth. He's a big, ugly purple dude. It's not Grape Ape. Remember that cartoon from the 70s? Grape Ape. So, but I like the design. He's really ugly. That's what you want your monsters to be. Power Warlock number 7. And these all came out before I even read comics. So I missed out on all this. So it was fun reading this in a guilty pleasure way. It's good. It's a little overwrought as far as the writing. And like I said, the art kind of jerks around back and forth. And that's a pain in the ass. Because that singular vision is gone. And the Doctor Doom from Counter Earth is a hero, so they make a statue of him. That's really cool. John Buscema cover there. I don't know who inked it, but I love it. I think this last... No, it's not the last one. This one has Mike Frederick, Bob Brown, Tom Sutton again. And I guess they made that like a float, because that's why the... I don't know, whatever they use, paper mache or whatever, that's what the texture is. Man, my book's going to be canceled soon. Can you believe that? That's what he looks like saying. That's pretty intense right there. I like that. I like that. I approve of that. Okay, here we go. Very, very, very Bronze Age. And it's, to me, it was always fascinating, even though it's kind of ridiculous in retrospect. So you have the Man-Beast, and who came along first in Thor with... he was created by the High Evolutionary, and he was the radical who wanted to conquer Counter Earth. So, it is your evil that will yield. This I swear. This particular clash will be concluded sometime, somewhere in the Marvel Universe, true believer. But the struggle eternal goes on within all of us. For good, battling evil, it is never the end. So we jump over to the Hulk. And again, it's a lot of steady series that sell that will finish off stories from other books. And the team-up books did well, Marvel Team-Up and Marvel Toon 1. And you got some delicious Trimpe and Jack Abel art. I just loved their combination there. And this is by Gary Conway. Story conceived and edited by Roy Thomas. So you're caught in the middle of some other story. And you got Betty, frankly, I think the whole Betty thing went on forever and ever. Just like Karen Page, I always thought, well, can't you move on a little bit? I don't miss Gwen Stacy. I mean, after she died, I didn't get into comics until after she had perished. But it's like, Then he got Mary Jane. It's like, I always wish these guys had like a second lover instead of just making melodrama out of the same characters. I mean, both Bruce and Betty would just crack at any point with all this stuff going on. Crappy hair. She got old lady hair. And here comes the Hulk. La la. There's the man beast, baby. Man beast, baby. Wow. And then Adam Warlock shall live again. This will probably, what will probably be the most talked about story in Marvel history. The Beast Man triumphant. Another great cover. Oh, I love the line work that way. I mean, it's hard to describe, but shapes are important. You know, if you're going to ink somebody, you have to be very mindful to keep the shape instead of just inking part here and part here and part here. You have to make sure everything flows. I'm not quite describing it well enough. I think you know where I'm going with this. So, okay, man, I love that. Trippy is so good at doing like paramilitary stuff. Man, that's great. That's a great image right there. Very uncommon look, you know. He's just kind of like, oh, you're trying to screw with me, huh? Ah, Hulk will kick ass. So, now we got this issue. Another gorgeous cover. So, of course, Adam Warlock, the Christ figure, has to be crucified. You know. I was like, really? Now, here you go. Jerry Conway, plotter. Tony Isabella, scripter. They're both good. You know, they're both good writers. It's just that we're going through all these creators just to tell, what is it, less than 300 pages of comic story. But so a lot of it's truncated into one-page montages, and I think maybe they just wanted to get it done. I don't know. Let's see, original art. Oh my gosh, look at this. Gil Kane layouts. Look at that. Oh my gosh. Look at that. That's like a master class. And anyway, that's different. Well, here's the thing. This was... okay. This was, by all accounts, it slogged along, and despite the enthusiasm of the people working on the book, it was just a big mess. It was a big handed off to somebody else type book. And a book's not going to survive if they do that sort of thing. So, let's go to this. Now, this is the opposite. It's high quality. It's all Jim Starlin with Steve Lealoha and Joe Rubenstein, I'm sorry. And it is top notch. The problem is, it was too artsy for comics at the time. It really didn't. It was a bi-monthly book, and Starlin put everything into it. Everything. He put his guts into it. It's still fantastic at this point. Look at that. Look at that. That's right away, you're like, no. Okay. This is the real thing. Okay. So, what I'm going to do, I have a second episode, and I'm going to be covering this, okay? I have a little tickle in my throat, and I don't want to be gagging and coughing, but this is magnificent. If you're a Starlin fan, you can only get one Marvel Masterwork. This is the one to get. It has the new beginning and then his final days. So I will be continuing that in a few minutes, and that's it.